Hi, Sid Dobrin here with Inventive Fishing, and I've been thinking about national marine monuments. And why wouldn't I be thinking about national marine monuments? In the last couple of weeks, we've gotten some great news from the White House about two different national marine monuments. First, in late August, the expansion of the Northwest Hawaiian Islands Marine National Monument, and then in mid-September, the formation of the Northeast Canyons and Seamounts Marine National Monuments, located about 150 miles off the Massachusetts coast. But the important news isn't just the expansion or the formation of these marine monuments, but that the White House has clearly differentiated public use of these spaces from commercial extraction of marine resources from these spaces. This means that recreational fishing will not be closed out from these national monuments. Now, given the recent trend of restricting recreational fishing from protected areas, what we should think of as closure mentality, the specific acknowledgement from the White House that recreational fishing is not equivalent of commercial or industrial harvest and is part of citizens' rights to access public waters, well, that's a damn good sign, and it's a great sign of support. But before we get to the importance of these two national marine monuments and their importance to recreational anglers, let's take a moment to talk about national marine monuments in general, since they are a different kind of national monument than most Americans get to experience. The process of establishing national monuments emerged through the establishment of the Antiquities Act of 1906, which was designed to help protect prehistoric Native American ruins and artifacts on federal lands. Now, Theodore Roosevelt used the act to establish Devil's Tower in Wyoming as the first national monument. The act authorizes the President of the United States to proclaim historic landmarks, historic and prehistoric structures, and other objects of historic or scientific interest on federal lands as national monuments, the limits of which in all cases shall be confined to the smallest area compatible with the proper care and management of the objects to be protected. Since 1906, 124 places have been designated as national monuments. But of these, though, only 9 are marine monuments. Marine monuments weren't added to the National Monuments list until 2009 when, by presidential proclamation, 3 Pacific Marine monuments were identified: Marianas Trench, Pacific Remote Islands, and Rose Atoll. Since then, 6 more monuments have been added by presidential proclamation. Marine monuments are a lot like national marine sanctuaries. The primary difference comes from how they're designated. Marine sanctuaries are designated by NOAA or by Congress and managed by NOAA under the authority of the National Marine Sanctuaries Act. Marine monuments can be established by presidential proclamation under the authority of the Antiquities Act. So in the last few weeks, the Obama administration has expanded the Northwest Hawaiian Islands Marine National Monument and established the Northeast Canyons and Seamounts Marine National Monument. And we need to think about what this means for recreational fishing on a larger scale. First, recognize that the Northwest Hawaiian Islands were first protected by Theodore Roosevelt in 1909 through Executive Order 1019, which was a response to over-harvesting of seabirds. In 1940, Franklin Roosevelt converted the protected areas in the Hawaiian Islands National Refuge. In 1988, the Midway Atoll National Wildlife Refuge was added to the protected region. In 1993, Cure Atoll was added, and then in 2000, the Northwest Hawaiian Islands Coral Reef Ecosystem Reserve was added. This same year, Bill Clinton issued Executive Order 13178, which began the process to establish the area as a national marine monument. In 2006, George W. Bush signed Proclamation 8031 using the Antiquities Act of 1906 to establish the region as a national marine monument, which extended about 50 miles out and excluded recreational fishing from the region. Now, 10 years later, President Obama, following a proposal put forward by Hawaii Senator Brian Schatz, has expanded the Northwest Hawaiian Islands Marine National Monument out to 200 miles, or the limits of the U.S. exclusive economic zones, creating the world's largest marine protected area. Within the protected area, all commercial extraction activities, like commercial and industrial fish harvesting, oil exploration, and mineral extraction, are prohibited. But the Obama administration reversed the exclusion of recreational fishing. And this is important news for recreational anglers across the nation, not because it lets us fish someplace we haven't been able to fish in a decade, but because it acknowledges a philosophical shift in how we understand recreational fishing in terms of fisheries management and conservation efforts. This decision to allow recreational access to boaters and anglers clearly identifies the importance of these activities to American citizens and confirms that it is not recreational angling activities that deplete fisheries and marine resources. In fact, quite the opposite, given recreational anglers' continued leadership in conservation efforts. The White House has verified that recreational fishing and marine conservation are compatible activities. But reopening the Northwest Hawaiian Islands Marine National Monument to recreational angling is only part of the confirmation, as President Obama continued to acknowledge the distinction between commercial and industrial fishing and recreational fishing, when earlier this month he established the Northeast Canyons and Seamounts Marine National Monument located off of Massachusetts. This is the first East Coast National Marine Monument. And again, he made provisions to ban commercial harvest while protecting recreational anglers' rights to fish the region. It seems to me that if in a 3-week period the White House twice acknowledges the difference between industrial and recreational harvest and the compatibility between recreational angling and conservation, as opposed to the incompatibility of industrial or commercial harvest and conservation, well, that seems to me to be setting a precedent that affirms recreational anglers as partners in marine conservation and recreational angling as a sustainable activity that can operate responsibly in public waters. We need this kind of consistency and commitment from federal leaders in establishing fisheries and marine conservation policies. And we need to be grateful to all of those working to continue to establish a management atmosphere that acknowledges and respects anglers' rights. Fish on.